ahead and get the fascia off. Start by opening the hood. If you're on the ground, make sure you chock your wheels, set the emergency brake, put the car in gear. Most of you will be working on the ground. I am in the luxury of a shop, so I'll be working on a rack. And we'll start with the bottom of the car, get the underpan off. If you have an aftermarket one, remove that, stock one as well. And then we'll start with the wings, and then we'll get to the fender liners, and then we'll go ahead and pull the front fascia off. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut out the part where we removed the fascia. Due to this being a Nismo fascia on a non-Nismo chassis, there were a lot of anecdotal things that won't pertain to you, so it doesn't really make sense for me to do that when there's already a million videos on YouTube removing these fascias. So we'll just go ahead and move forward to the actual installation of the air guide. On this vehicle, we actually have still in G3 intakes. We can simply just remove them. Keep in mind this is a good time to also service these intakes. In order to remove these, you'll need an 8mm socket. Just simply zip these off. And then simply just pull them off. Sometimes they're a little tight with the harness. Be sure to take the opportunity to service these filters if they're oiled filters like this. Some of the filters are dry filters, so be sure to replace those if you need to as well. You'll notice that there's a green wire and a black wire. Go ahead and depress these pins and remove them. Then we're going to get a 10mm socket and go ahead and remove this horn. In the kit provided, we give you an extension harness to relocate the horn from the middle section of the vehicle over to the underside of the passenger headlight. It is color coded. You'll see on the factory vehicle we have a green wire and a black wire. On the harness provided, go ahead and match the corresponding colors. Now we can slide this harness back and take it towards the passenger side headlight. Wrap it underneath this foam support. And just right here underneath the passenger side headlight, we have a bolt that actually goes to a bracket on the passenger side headlight. Remove it. In the kit provided, we give you this bolt and a standoff. Go ahead and separate these. Take the horn, stick the bolt through. Apply the standoff to the back side of it and put it right back to where we took that original bullet out on the underside of the headlight. Make sure to thread it in with your hands first and then go ahead and clock the horn slightly so it clears everything. And then you're done. In the kit we also provide some zip ties. Go ahead and zip tie the extension harness that we provide up against the original body chassis harness. Keep in mind there's a short one on the far right side and it has 3 indentions in the top instead of 4. Now go ahead and remove the upper cowl. And now we have access to the bolts that we need to change. With a 10mm, go ahead and remove the rearmost screws. And now I'll show you the difference between the stock one and the one we provide. This one is a 25mm opposed to like a 16mm in length. Now simply install the two 25mm 610 bolts that we provide in the kit in those holes that we just removed the 2 factory bolts from. Make sure they're nice and snug. Now we can lift the car back up or get back underneath it and start to install the air guide. Okay, so I see a lot of people struggling with this part. I'm going to show you a really easy way to install this. We just installed those 2 bolts on the upper core support. There's 2 nuts that are also provided in the kit. They go to the underside of that. They will be on the back side of the shield, and they will be feeding through these 2 slots. Slots are here for adjustment for the hood and for oil coolers as well, and anything else you may have underneath here. We try to give you as much room as possible. So, have one in your hand ready to go. I want you to take the air guide, face it like this. Make sure these 2 fins are on the left side of the vertical core support. Simply push it back. Keep in mind your air condenser. You do not want to scratch that. Go ahead and slide it back behind the crash bar. Keep bringing it forward. Now we're going to slide it to the right and put it on center of the vertical core support and simply lift it up into the slots. And then you're done. Now just take that nut and feed it up behind the shield into the 2 screws that we just installed. They're a little bit longer than the factory ones. Go ahead and get it hand threaded on, and that's it. You can let it hang there. Now you can grab your other nut, install the other side, and then we'll go ahead and get those kind of snug. We still have to do some adjusting up top here, and we'll get to that here in the next portion. Okay guys, for this next part, this is a tool that's going to really help you out, make your life a lot easier. Just an extension, small 1/4" ratchet, wobbler on the end, 10mm socket. Okay guys, for this next part we need to make sure that the hood latch actually clears the air guide. In the air guide itself there's a relief. Just go ahead and slightly position it where you think it should land. Now slowly close your hood and make sure that it lines up with the air guide, then go ahead and adjust it until it does. Now we know it's not going to hit, so at this point go ahead and tighten up your air guide. Okay, now that that's installed and tightened up, we'll go ahead and double check our fitment and make sure that our hood latch clears, which it does. Okay, cool. So you just open it back up, go ahead and prop your hood again, and then we'll move on to installing the lower portion of the air guide. Alright guys, so we're at the end of this installation. Now we just have to fasten the bottom portion of the air guide into the lower crash bar. We provide you with 2 cylindrical standoffs, a drill bit, as well as a self-tapping screw. It requires a 10mm or 3/8 socket. First, what we're going to do is line this front edge up to the front edge of the tow hook. That's how we know where we are supposed to be. Now, we're going to take our cylindrical spacer and we're going to insert it where the corresponding holes are on the air guide that are pre-drilled. We're going to take our fingers and hold it like this, and we're going to take our drill and slide it through the actual standoff and make sure that it's flush on both sides. Okay, so now that I have my cylindrical standoff where I know I want it to be, I slid my drill bit through the standoff itself and through the air guide. It's now flush with the tow hook mount, so let's go ahead and start to drill. Alright, that's it. Go ahead and dust that off. Okay, so for the next part, we're going to stick the same cylindrical spacer back in, except for this time, instead of putting the drill bit in, we're actually going to put this self-tapper inside. Also, there's a laser etch on here with the Dewla Dezign logo that you can orient whichever way you want. I usually put them out. Now I have the self-tapping screw in the hole that we just made as a guide. Take a 10mm socket. Now let's go ahead and pull this back up flush like we originally had it, and go ahead and start the thread in. Okay. Okay, so I don't typically tighten this all the way down until I get the other side started and make sure that everything's going to line up nice and flush. And then I'll go back and snug both sides down. Before we install the air guide, we also want to take this harness that has a clip on it. We pull it out of the passenger side and just literally flip it around the vertical core support and plug it right back into the same corresponding hole. And that's all you have to do for that. And that way it clears. It just clips right in like that. Okay, so I went ahead and pre-drilled my hole. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing I did on the other side. Just slide this in, Make sure my bit is where I want it to be oriented. Go ahead and push it slightly forward. That's it. Nice and snug, flush with the tow hook. All right, so that concludes our installation guide for the Dewla Dezign Air Guide. Go ahead and reinstall your filters, reinstall your fascia, reinstall your fender liners, your splash shield, and then you are ready to go. If you have any questions, feel free to email or call us. We will walk you through this process, no problem. If you run into any issues, we can help mitigate. No problem at all. Just give us a call. We're here to help you. So don't struggle. We're here to help. That's the name of our business. That's what we want to do. We want to help our customers. We want to provide you with good service. We want to give you good parts that fit every time. So if you have an issue, please call us. We will help you. If it means getting you another part, we will get you another part. If it means walking you through step by step, we're going to do it. So if you need anything, please just give us a call. Thanks.